Military recruitment is facing severe lows in recent years, a crisis that candidates for the 49th Congressional District, Kate Monroe, and veteran and CEO of vetcom.us believes she can fix, and she joins us now to discuss. Kate, always so good to see you.
Happy to be here. Thanks so much.
Of course. You are saying that there is a recruitment crisis. What are you seeing?
Well, we're past crisis level. Crisis is like, oh, there's a crisis, impending doom is coming. Hey, we better shuffle it up and get it going. We're past a crisis level. We are at a stage in our country where, because we're funding someone else's war, we are bringing, possibly Russia and China into a war with us while we're in the middle of a recruiting crisis, and we send a ton of money overseas, and we're not really equipped to be fighting that war. And now there's a war in Israel, and we're staged just offshore there too. So without us shoring up this position, we're at risk as a country. We also let a ton of people into our country, and we're going to have to contend with that very soon. So it's well past the crisis stage. It's actually fairly scary for our country.
You're also talking about the military recruitment, lowering standards for the military. You served in the Marine Corps. Thank you for your service. When you were serving in the Marine Corps, how was standards different than now?
Well, the interesting part, if you isolate to only the Marine Corps, the standard was fairly similar. Now, has there been some nuanced changes from the time that I served until now? Certainly there has, with uniforms and other changes. But I would say that the Marine Corps in general held together the integrity of their standard, which is why they're not seeing a recruiting crisis. So of all the services, only the Marines are not seeing a recruiting crisis. One, because they held up their standard, they're esprit de corps. But two, they're being like a beacon and a lighthouse to people who would go in other services. So I talked to some recruiters, and they said, we're getting kids that would have normally gone into the Air Force, into the Navy, into the Coast Guard, into the Army, who are saying, we don't want that woke ideology. We want to go into a service that's held together its integrity. And so I think that's one thing. But the lowering of the standards of the other services, they want to lower the PT, the physical ability standard. And if you're not battle ready as a country, how are you going to go meet this need when you go to war? I don't think we should be lowering physical and mental standards. The standard I do think we need to address, though, is let's imagine in high school you had single weed usage. You go tell that to a recruiter, you're not getting in. So we need to reimagine how we deal with that, because that's one of the biggest things is it's getting half the kids automatically disqualified. So that's one area I think we need to look at. But the rest, we need to leave the standards where they are, if not raise them.
Well, how can this be fixed as far as low recruitment?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that needs to get fixed. One, I think, college isn't as big a carrot as it used to be. Kids wanted to go in college, they would serve their country. And that's just not a thing. We said college is free. So kids are like, why would I go into the military? Why would I do all that hard work if it's free? One. Two, we need to fix this woke ideology in the services. It's not an attractive thing for the type of person who would want to serve their country. I know for me, coming out of early college, right out of high school, I wouldn't have wanted to go into a service with all this wokeism. And the third big thing, I actually crafted the framework of the Veteran Entrepreneur Act. This would let veterans start a business. So this entrepreneurial effort you're seeing in this new generation, they all want to be a CEO today. Maybe we need to work up to being a CEO. But certainly they have that entrepreneurial spirit. And I think that would be a big fix. I talked to Admiral Lex Walker, and he said if he could have that to offer the Navy, they would see a huge uptick in recruitment.
And before we go, you just made an announcement recently that you are running for Congress for the 49th District. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What will be your priorities?
Well, I have a few priorities. I think I've been actively outspoken about homeless, drugs, lawlessness, the border, veterans affairs, certainly. So I think I'm going to keep my focus there. But I'd also like to add in one extra, which would be the economy. Everyone is getting pinched by inflation and by the economy. And there's a certain part of the constituency, especially faced by this. Like when we're talking about how many groceries can we buy, we're in a very sad state. So I would like to propose performance-based funding. We spend so much money in our government, we have no idea where it goes. That's why the inflation keeps going up and going up and going up. So, I would like to focus on that in addition to, I said, homeless, drugs, lawlessness, border, and veteran affairs. I think those are a big focal point for me, and I think that's safety certainly is what the constituents care about right now.
And we always appreciate you being here on KUSI discussing those topics as well. So good luck on your campaign, and we appreciate you being here, Kate Monroe, to discuss the military recruitment.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you.